how long I've loved you. You know I love you still. Will I wait a lonely lifetime? If you want me to, I will. And if I ever saw you, I didn't catch your name, but it doesn't really matter. I will always feel the same. I'll love you forever and forever. I'll love you with all my heart. I'll love you whenever we're together. I'll love you when we're apart. And when at last I found you, your song will fill the air. Sing it loud so I can hear you. Take it easy to be near you. For the things you do endear you to me. Ah, you know I will. I'll love you forever and forever. I'll love you with all my heart. I'll love you whenever we're together. I'll love you when we're apart. And when at last I found you, your song will fill the air. Sing it loud so I can hear you. Make it easy to be near you. For the things you do endear you to me. Ah, you know I will. I will. Da 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 da.
Okay, I know that applause was for them, not for me. Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Hamilton on this Thanksgiving Sunday, which is also Canvas Sunday. We welcome everyone here in the sanctuary and those of you who are joining at home on YouTube. The online folks are muted, so I would ask everyone here to please check your devices and make sure that they are either silent or turned off. Thank you. My name is Mary Eve. And last week when I talked about Canvas with two S's at the end, I thought, well, you know what? I'll talk about Mary Eve with EVE, which is my last name. A lot of people call me Mary Eve, thinking it's my first name. So, okay, that's number two thing that I got off my mind. Thank you. I'm chairing this year's annual Canvas campaign, and I'm this morning's service leader. I want to thank today's service team, which includes our minister, Reverend Jamie Boyce, our music ministers, DJ Moons, Beverly Horton, Norm Ayerst, and Maurice Mo Juteau. Our chalice lighter and story for all ages reader is our religious educator, Tim Versteeg, and our tech team, Brian Carey, John Elliott, Josh McIntyre, Chris McCoy, and Ron Weiss. It takes a lot of people to put together a service like this, and I'm glad you're all here to enjoy it. We're not the first people on this land, nor will we be the last. We acknowledge our connection to the web of all existence, honoring the past and preparing for the future. The stewardship of the original people who lived here preserved this place for our generation. We seek to be respectful stewards of this place for those who follow. Our goal in this congregation is to extend our hearts and welcome to whomever you are. We are connected through our desire to live out our ideals of peace, love, and justice for all. We are here to love one another and encourage each other to our spiritual growth. Our congregational mission includes our commitment to nurture one another, serve the community, and inspire action that heals the world. Our reading this morning is adapted from a poem called "This is the House That Love Made" by Reverend Amanda Pape. And it's just been adapted just a tiny bit. This is our home, which love has made. It is full of the love of every congregation since 1889, whose commitment has kept this church alive. This is our home, which love has made. It is full of the love of our children as they learn and laugh together, and our youth as they grow into their own sense of purpose and meaning. This is our home, which love has made. It is full of the love of the staff who have served it, full of their hopes for this congregation, their hard work, and their acts of dedication. This is our home, which love has made. It is full of the love of the choir, the love made so clear in the voices lifted here on Sunday mornings. Maybe not this morning, but other mornings. This is our home that love has made. It is full of our love, the love of this family. Despite our differences and our disagreements, the love that holds us together as a people. This is our home, which love has made. Can you feel it? Can you feel that love? Here, among us, now. May that love be with us always. Our chalice represents the light of hope at the center of our faith tradition. The spark of this flame draws us into our time of worship and community. I now invite Tim Versteeg to light both of our chalices this morning.
So this morning we're going to start with the chalice lighting we normally do in the back of the church, which all the children will know, and some of the adults will know. And it has some hand movements to it, so if you will join me, I believe the words are going to be behind me in a moment. Here we go. We light this chalice for Unitarian Universalism. This is a church of open minds. This is a church of loving hearts and helping hands. Together we care for our earth and work for peace and friendship in our world. And in the back, what we do at this point is we all join hands and we pass a squeeze around the circle and then do our joys and concerns or our glads and sads. And
Can we do it one more time, Tim?
we can do it who wants to do it one more time? Reverend Jamie does, so we got to do it. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is a church of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. Together we care for our earth and work for peace and friendship in our world. And then you join the hands. And if you will join me in our sanctuary chalice lighting words, may this flame be our light of friendship and love.
Thank you, Tim. Okay, and now it's time for the canvas part of this service. I think you've heard these words before. This is our home, which love has made with our hearts and with our hands. How does it feel to be a homeowner of the First Unitarian Church of Hamilton? What's it like? Do you feel at home, like you belong? What has it given you? Has it provided safety, shelter, comfort? Has it fed you, supported you, and helped you to find truth and meaning? Has it provided opportunities for you to live your values? Has it provided opportunity for learning or for developing or using your skills? Has it provided you with a family, people with whom you can be yourself, people you can engage with, people who challenge you, and people who encourage you in your spiritual growth? Is it a hospitable, kind, and generous member of the wider community? Has it given you something that you can't get anywhere else? Do you love and value it? The First Unitarian Church of Hamilton encompasses much more than just a physical building and our grounds. Our church is also our spiritual home and our spiritual family. So how do we take care of it? Just like any home, there are tasks to be done. How do we get those done with our skills and our time and our work? Just like any home, there are expenses to be paid. We need to pay for utilities, staff, products and services, and everything else that's necessary for the First Unitarian Church of Hamilton's continued existence, so that we may live our faith and take care of each other and do good in the community. How do we get the money to do that? From the first moment that each of us walked through the doors of the church, our church home, we benefited from the love and care of previous generations of homeowners. Through their hearts and hands, their work and money contributed to our being able to gather together today and throughout the week, and for other community groups to gather here as well. And now it's our turn to do our part, to look into our hearts, extend our hands, and to the best of our ability, contribute to the funds needed to maintain this home and family, our home and our family. Like all UU churches, we are financially self-supporting. We receive no funding trickling down from higher up in our organization. We are this church. We are its stewards, its caretakers, and are responsible for its operations and continued existence. We are the hearts and hands through which love can continue to make this a home for us, for others, and for future generations. That's how we take care of the First Unitarian Church home, through our hearts and through our hands. Please take some time this week to read the Canvas information package that was sent to you and to consider the amount of your pledge of your pledge of financial support. Good thing I made that mistake. I got to say it again. We know that for some, a financial contribution may not be possible at this time. If that is the case for you, please let us know. After the end of the Canvas campaign, our calling team will be contacting everyone we haven't heard from. So if you let us know, we can take your name off the list. However, should your situation change and you would like to make a pledge at some other time, it can be done anytime during the year. It's not just during these 2 weeks. For more information, or if you have any questions, or even if you want to make your pledge this morning, Elizabeth and I will be sitting outside. There's a table there, a Canvas table. Come on over. We can provide you with information. And like I said, we have pledge forms there if you want to make your pledge, or we can pledge on your behalf. Okay, and the other thing you can do if you are at home, just send an email to canvas@uuhamilton.ca. On behalf of the Canvas team and our church, I offer sincere thanks for all the ways you support our church, not just financially. Okay, let's change the mood, let's change the energy. We're going to have a hearts and hands activity now. And it's going to be your turn for a little bit of reflection. Okay, I'm going to start with the people who are joining us on YouTube. Hearts and hands drawings like these were provided in a link on the e-announcements this week and also this morning's call to worship. So those of you who are joining us from YouTube, I'll give you a minute or so to, you don't have to download them if you don't want to, or if you haven't yet, you can trace your hand on a piece of paper, just draw a heart in another piece, and you'll be all set to go. And those of you participating in this morning's service in the sanctuary, when you came in, I think you were handed a hand and a heart and a writing implement, and if you don't have one, put your real hand up, your human hand up, and we'll make sure you get something. Okay, so Agnes will come around and bring you what you need. What's going to happen afterwards? You're going to be putting something on those hearts and hands, and then afterwards you'll bring them up to the center table. You can be anonymous if you wish, or you can sign them if you wish. And what we're going to do afterwards is we're going to collect all of the hearts and hands, and we're going to make a garland and have it displayed here, and that'll be a reminder of our hopes and dreams for our church family, for our church home. It'll be a guided reflection in the next couple of minutes. Did somebody have a question? No? Okay. Oh. Okay. All right. How about that? That better? So does that mean you didn't hear all my words about Candace? Whoa, no, I have to start all over? Okay, thank you. Is that better? Good? Okay, let's begin. If everybody's got their supplies, we're going to start. Okay. I invite you to close your eyes and relax. Take a few long, slow breaths. This is our home, which love has made, with our hearts and with our hands. Keeping your eyes closed, I invite you to notice which each of the 4 key words brings up for you when you think about our church. Home. Love. Hearts. Hands. And now, for the next few minutes, I invite you to ask yourself the following questions. What makes the First Unitarian Church a home for you? What makes us a family? How does love show itself here? How does love show itself with our hearts How does love show itself with our hands? And whenever you're ready, please open your eyes. And please take your paper heart and write or draw how love has come through our hands, or what you love or appreciate about our spiritual home and family. There are prompts on the screen. We'll take about 2 or 3 minutes for that. How are we doing for time? Who needs a little more time? Okay. What? Okay, 1 more minute, and then we'll go to the hands. Oh, did they do hands? Okay. It's okay. It's cool. Okay, you can keep doing this throughout the service if you haven't quite finished. So we'll move on to the next one. So whatever one, how many people did hearts this time? How many people did hands? Okay, doesn't matter. Whichever one you did not do. So if you did the heart, if you wrote something about the heart and you put it on the hands, that's okay. So the heart words, now I'll go to the hand words. How's that? Or the whatever's missing. I guess the heart words. Okay, here we go. On the paper hand, originally, we were going to ask you to write or draw some examples of how love has come through our hands. Okay, so what you appreciate or love about the gifts and talent and work that go into making this our spiritual home. So it's kind of the same idea. The hands, what you love and appreciate about our spiritual home. The heart, what you love and appreciate about our spiritual home. And the hands, what you love and appreciate about the gifts and talents and all the stuff that goes to making this a wonderful spiritual home. So heart stuff and hand stuff. And I'll put about 2 minutes on for that and check with you in a bit. And now, if you have finished both your heart and hand, you are invited to come up the center aisle from both sides, just one side and the other, and just place your hearts and hands on the table. These are just the paper ones, not your physical ones. We're not asking for that much this morning. Just place them on the table, and we'll gather them up, make a garland to display. And you can keep working on them throughout the service if you're not finished. And for those of you at home, you're invited to send an email to canvas@uuhamilton.ca with your words or a photo, a description, audio, video, anything that you would like us to have in terms of what you put on your hearts and hands at home. And also, while you're at it, I'm sorry, please put your writing implements in the little container there. If not, we'll collect them, or you can put them in there later, but thank you. Thank you very much. That looks great. Thank you. Okay, change the energy again. This time we're going to change it up. Another thing you were handed when you walked in was a lyric sheet with the words to this year's Canvas song. I wrote new lyrics for it, as we do quite often for Canvas, we take a song and write stuff. I wrote one about trees last year, and this year it's going to be about our church. And it's to the tune of He's Got the Whole World in His Hands, and Beverly will now lead us all through singing it with the new words. Beverly. Yeah, does anyone need a sheet? It looks like this. They're going to be projected. We're just going to sing the first 3 verses to start.
3 at a time. So when I was in high school, in English class, we had to do scansion on poetry. This is a nightmare. This is an absolute nightmare. I've been sitting over there going, stress, unstressed, 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 stressed. Yes, yes, you do. That's right. You do challenge me always, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Mary. Okay, so let's give it a go. We got the church building in our hands. We got the parking lot and gardens in our hands. We got our church sign in our hands. We got the whole church in our hands. We got the minister and staff members in our hands. We got heat and lights and insurance in our hands. We got phone, internet, and printing in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. We got 8 UU principles in our hands. We got mission statement in our hands. We got love and caring in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. Whole church in our hands. The world too, but church.
Good morning. So our story for all ages today is actually a song, but I'm not going to sing. You'll be thankful for that. But it's called These Hands, and it's written by a songwriter named Dave Gunning, and the illustrations for this particular version are by Megan Smith. Some hands have held the world together. Some hands have fought in wars forever. So tell me, what shall I do with these hands of mine? Some hands have blessed 1 million people, and some hands have helped free the world from evil. So tell me, what shall I do with these hands of mine? What shall I do with these hands of mine? What shall I do with these hands of mine? The world could use a hero of the humankind. So tell me, what shall I do with these hands of mine? Some hands can stop a life from dying, and some hands comfort a baby crying. So tell me, what shall I do with these hands of mine? I want to sing it from my heart. I want to hear it in the wind till it blows around the world and comes back again. All that we can ask is for ours to be free, to use them when we want, for whatever the need. Some hands give voice to a nation. Some hands wrote the times they are a-changin'. So tell me, what shall I do with these hands of mine? What shall I do with these hands of mine? What shall I do with these hands of mine? The world could use a hero of the humankind. So tell me, what shall I do with these hands of mine? And that's our story or song for this morning. Now, this morning, is all about our yearly canvas, as you've heard Mary already talking about. And part of what Sporting Canvas does in our church is to provide money and the resources for the programs and the ministry of our children, youth, and our families. And if you were back in the sanctuary last week and you watched the recessional of us all back to Fellowship Hall for our first family chapel, you would have seen that our family ministries are a big part of this community, as we had 32 people from ages 1, I'm not going to give the upper level, but we had a wide range of ages, to participate in a family worship that was meaningful for all ages. And this morning, I want to share just one of the many initiatives that we've introduced to our family ministries. And to do this, I'm going to ask Tanya, who is one of the members of our CYRE team, to unveil and roll up, presenting the CART. Now, you may wonder what CART stands for. Oh, and it didn't do it for me today. It's awfully loud when you roll it across the church. So CART stands for Children's Activities on Rolling Thunder. Wherever there will be multi-generational activities in our church, our CART will be there, so that children can always feel welcome to be part of our community and church life. Today, as well as books, puzzles, and games, we have coloring sheets that reflect our Canvas message. So, there are hands and hearts to color today. And there are also some clipboards at the bottom so you have something hard to draw on, and crayons and stuff. So I will invite families to come up to the front and just get something for their children to hang out with in a minute. It's very exciting, but we got to let Reverend Jamie bless the cart first. And we'll put the cart back down, okay? So you don't have to come up, but once with carts back down, feel free to get a book, get some coloring sheets, get a puzzle.
Stay here.
Oh, stay here.
So I'm excited too about this cart, because Tim and I had a conversation. We thought, we have this idea that children go to religious education. And we thought, what if religious education goes to children and families? So what if we flip that around, and now we have both? So we can always be together in community, no matter where we are. And that is one of our great missions of the world, is to bring us together in community and in relationship of every age, of every stage in life. So this is a gift to our children and youth, and it is a gift to our families, and it is a gift to all of us. And we bless it and have fun with it and enjoy it. And it will be rolling around our building, and you'll see it. And we invite you to interact and engage with it, no matter your age. There's some Rubik's Cubes in there, and I know Gen Xers we're all into that. So,
and everybody likes to color.
That's right. Everybody likes to cover. So bless this cart. Bless it as it shapes our community and brings us together in new ways. So yeah, let kids get into it.
Yep. Right there.
I think it's time for Beverly to come back. But while we're waiting, CART, I just thought of this. Canvas allows really good things. And the other cheeky comment that I have after Tim read his story, and what can I do with these hands? Okay, I thought if I was going to be really cheeky, I would say, well, you know, you can hand it over, and you know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Beverly, and all yours.
We got Sunday services in our hands. We got children and youth programs in our hands. We've got adult programs in our hands. We got the whole church in our hands. We got the visitor engagement team in our hands. We got social justice in our hands. We got committees, teams, and task forces in our hands. We got whole church in our hands. We got choir and drumming. In our hands we got recruiters and gardeners. In our hands we got zoomers and boomers. In our hands we got whole church in our hands.
Hearts and hands. They connect us in our lives together, in our dreams for each other and for the world, and they connect us to this holy place. We have a life-saving, life-affirming, and world-changing message that the world desperately needs. Our hearts and hands give it shape, and this is a home where we launch our lives and our ministries into the world. It matters what we do together. It matters how we are changed, and it matters how we change the world. Let's drop into a place of reflection, contemplation, and prayer as we pause to notice generosity and gratitude in our midst. Hearts and hands tend to the broken and tender places of our lives, hearts and hands that hold us close during uncertain times, hearts and hands that provide a community of care and support, hearts and hands that encourages each of us to keep going and to stay connected, a community of faith and friends that loves abundantly, relentlessly, and voraciously. Let the generosity inspired today nourish a spirit of gratitude in each of us. Let us be grateful for the time, talents, treasures, and the unique beauty that each of us brings to this beloved community. Let us be thankful for the presence we bring to each other as we bear witness to a world and bring our abiding love of justice to that world. Let us be thankful for our ancestors who shared themselves generously, who have charged us with this sacred place. Let us be grateful to each other for the smiles, for the giggles of children, the leadership of youth, the presence of family, and the wisdom of our elders. Let us be grateful. Let us humble our hearts in the presence of this gratitude and open towards generosity. Generosity of kindness, generosity of service. Next week, when you return to the sanctuary, the hearts and hands will be displayed across our dais, reminding us of the legacy of love that we are creating here today. And may we be reminded of the blessings we notice in this moment, on this special day, and always, and always. As we drop into a time of silence, may there be peace in our hearts and peace in the world. Catherine Kazabowski, Doyne and Frank, we hold you close in the care of community during this time of grief. The service of remembrance for Roy Dahl has been scheduled for October 29th at 3 p.m. here in our sanctuary and will be followed by a reception. Details will be available this week in our all-church email. For those unable to attend in person, the service will be live streamed on the congregation's YouTube channel. We continue to hold Roy's partner Paul in our hearts and Roy's many friends across Canada and the U.S. We know that there are sorrows among us too tender yet to share. We hold those unspoken sorrows and heartbreaks in the care of this community. And as with life, all parts of life, there is sorrow and there is joy. Betty Ripa shares a joy this week. Her granddaughter Abby received a call from her biological sister on her 16th birthday for the very first time. They met on Friday, and it was a wonderful day. So Betty, we share that joy with you, and we know there are unspoken joys among us as well, and we celebrate joy in this beloved community. Now we'll enjoy some beautiful music for our musical meditation. Again, celebrating some joy and happiness with us.
In the Free Faith tradition, we are the support and resources of this congregation, the gifts of ourselves, of our time, and of our financial donations throughout the year sustain the many ministries of this church, a community we have chosen to join and support. We'll now receive our offering while Beverly leads us in the last 3 verses of our canvas song. Number 7.
We got our church family. In our hands, we got you and me in community. In our hands, we got our mother. In our hands, we got the whole church in our hands. We got past, present, and future. In our hands, we got heritage and legacy. In our hands, we got responsibility. In our hands, we got the whole church in our hand. We got love and caring. In our hearts, we got love and caring. In our hearts, we got love and caring. In our hearts, we got our whole church in our heart. Doo-doo.
Thank you. Your gifts in support of our ministries and one another and the community are very much appreciated.
Go, beloveds, with hearts generously opened in love and hands prepared to offer gifts, talents, and presents to the world, a world that desperately needs our love. May you be filled with gratitude in the presence of family and friends on this Thanksgiving weekend, and may the world be made better by your acts of kindness, acts of generosity, and acts of love. Fare thee well. Until we meet again, we extinguish this chalice, but not the fire in our hearts. And I would love to offer more of a talk, but I think we're ready for the postlude. And I'm sure people are ready to go home and cook some side dishes, I bet.
I heard you're heading out to California. You heard the grapes are falling from the vine. And I was hoping you might have the urge to write me, but I don't believe you will, so never mind. And I was talking every which way the wind blows. And I always thought you and me, oh, never mind. Never mind, never mind. I'm just talking through the wine. And you know the drinking always makes me sad. Before this night is through, I'd better say I love you, or I'm gonna always wish that I first saw you picking oranges in Orlando. All day you kept your ladder close to mine. We were freezing Georgia pears up in Chicago. And I always thought you and me, oh, never mind. Well, never mind, never mind. I'm just talking through the wine. And you know the drinking always makes me sad. Before this night is through, I'd better say I love you, or I'm gonna always wish that I had. Pick one, Mo. Well, you know, today your baby called me daddy. Sometimes I wish that she was yours and mine. I could call my brother Milton Cincinnati and ask him for a loan. Oh, never mind. Never mind, never mind. I'm just talking through the wine. And you know the drinking always makes me sad. Before this night is through, I'd better say I love you, or I'm gonna always wish that I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Norman Moe. Wonderful. We have a couple of announcements today. That'll be it. Okay, from Linda Sevier, you are all invited to stay after the service next Sunday, October the 16th, for a circle meeting with Shelley Rempel, who will be delivering the day's homily on advocacy and climate action. This is an opportunity to learn more about advocacy in general and advocacy for the climate in particular. This a session of about 30 minutes, and it'll take the form of a Q&A, and will also provide an opportunity to learn about climate advocacy organizations in Hamilton and beyond. And one last announcement from somebody named Mary, whose last name is Eve. I wonder what that could be about. Okay, get ready for a couple of groaners, but indulge me, please. A heartfelt thanks to all of you who handed in your pledges this past week, even before the official Canvas kickoff service today. This beautiful display. Oh, sorry. sorry, this beautiful, I'm not very good at manna. This beautiful display is here to reflect the pledges that have been made. No, there's more than one. They are coming in. Eventually, this is going to be pretty packed, I hope. And when we get to our goal, it's going to be like way up there. In the meantime, and so here are tags. So we've got tags. Each tag is going to represent one pledge, and each rung represents a level in our goal. Thank you to John who made this for us. Okay, drum roll, maybe, maybe not. As of this morning, we have received 29 pledges, totaling a generous $87,300. And that is 30% of our goal. And about half of those pledges, or half of those people pledging, increased their pledge this year. So thank you, thank you, thank you for your generosity. And you have there 2 more weeks until the end of the campaign. Elizabeth and I will be out here after the service if you have any questions or you want some more information or you want to make your pledge. All I can say now is our service in the sanctuary is finished. I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. We have much to be grateful for. Thank you for being with us today. For those of you on YouTube, click on the Zoom link if you want to participate in a small group conversation. The Zoom host will place you in a group. If you don't wish to participate, you can leave the service now.
Do you have any post-close? These days?